Wow. This looks so nice. So, welcome to Grandpa Hill's True Stories. What are you laughing about? And what do we have to do first?
Take a seat, everybody!
I'm sitting here today with 7 of my grandchildren. One of them's asleep, and one of them is eating soup and making noise on the microphone. But that can be settled. It really does. So you have to eat somewhere else. Okay, sorry. You can sit close. This story is about when Grandpa Hill tells a lie to a policeman.
That's never a good sign.
And anyone who knows Grandpa Hill knows he doesn't do very much lying. Maybe never, but that's not true either. About 2010, in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and this was a Latrobe police officer that I ended up talking to. But it was the end of daylight on a summer day in June. We had just come from the St. Vincent's campus. We had had a party there. Actually, it was a mass followed by a party outside for homeschool graduates. Maybe a dozen graduates, but with siblings and parents and grandparents and maybe a few aunts and uncles and friends. It was quite a large gathering. And we had a lot of fun, and we shared food and talked about our schooling and our kids. So we had shared our Catholic faith there, and we had had a blast. And we shared our commitment to teaching our children at home, and we enjoyed each other, and the celebration was grand. And then it was time to go home. Grandma and I got in the red Chevy pickup and started north on 981. A mile down the road, we entered the city of Latrobe. And this is a really important story because some of the grandchildren listening are also drivers. And most of them will be drivers someday. As we came into town, the first traffic light at Jefferson and Main, I looked up at the light. It turned yellow, and I kept rolling through the intersection. Traffic was moving slow, and the light turned red before I entered the intersection. I turned to Grandma and said, "If I'm ever going to get a ticket, it is now." "Why's that?" she said. "Well, I just ran a red light, and there is the police station right over there. It's right on the corner." As I said the word there, the lights of the patrol car came on behind me.
Uh-oh.
This is it. This would soon be the second ticket of my entire 53 years of life. And I'd been driving since I was 16, so that's 30-some years or so. So I slowed down. I was looking for a place to pull over. In the confusion of finding that place to pull over, I came to the next light. This was at Ligonier and Maine. It's 1 block down. I was looking at the open spot ahead that I could park in. I signaled to pull off, and I went through another red light. So after 37 years of driving, I ran 2 red lights in a row, and the second one while being followed by a police car. A big sigh. I was not laughing as you guys are. So the policeman got out of his car, and he says, "You know why I pulled you over, don't you?" "Yes, sir, I do. I ran the red light back there." "You mean to tell me that, you didn't see it turn yellow because of the tractor trailer?" "No, actually, I could see the light." "You mean it blocked your view, so you really couldn't see it that well?" "Well, actually, it was difficult to see. I guess it did block my view." At that moment, Grandma protested. She said, "You said so yourself. You ran the..." And about that time, I started to squeeze her leg, like to signal to her that she should be quiet.
Grandpa didn't want Grandma to talk.
Because what Grandma was saying was true, but I just had told him that I didn't see it because I thought he wanted me to say that I didn't see it. That's what was going on in my head. So I put my hand on her thigh, squeezed it hard. This stopped Grandma for the time being. And the officer is trying to fight back a laugh as Grandma gets her leg squeezed. As I continued to explain to the officer what it seemed he wanted to hear me tell him, he thanked me for the explanation and my honesty. He cautioned me not to follow the trucks too closely in town and wished me a good evening. That was it. As he walked away, he paused at the back of the truck. He reached in and picked up one of the bottles sticking up out of the cup holder in our cooler from being at the party.
Oh.
His inspection seemed to be a check for open alcohol. He put the bottle back in. It was a water bottle. And he pulled away. There had been no alcohol at the party. Or afterwards. He pulls away, and then a discussion starts between Grandma and I about telling the truth. And what the officer was really checking for. And how I had lied to the police officer. So the question I would put to you is, should I have insisted on having run the light and give me a ticket, or was I okay to kind of agree with him that I really couldn't see it, but I really could see it? So as this discussion was going on, we approached the bridge trestle to head out of town on 981.
Oh, no.
There's a traffic light there. We slowed down to make the turn. I ran another red light.
What? No! Today was just not your red light day.
So 3 lights ran in one evening. And telling...
The span of 1 block.
Yeah, no, it's actually not a block. It's about half a mile, but pretty tight. So the 3 lights were ran and telling the officer a plausible but still untrue or desired untrue statement. So that's my story. Now you can tell me what you think. Was my lie a lie? Was it the right thing to do? Is it ever right to lie?
No.
Okay, Miriam says no.
Okay. Just this because I just did philosophy class.
Okay, philosophers get tickets too.
Yeah, that's true.
I think
Probably.
the person who started mess was the officer. He was like...
Yeah. If the officer should not have been intentionally goading you into that viewpoint after you agreed with him that you run the light.
But you have to be careful because the officer might still be employed there and he might listen to this podcast. And you just told him that he was in trouble.
I didn't tell him he was in trouble. I said that what he did was not what he should have done. Which he was likely aware of at the time.
Oh, he was trying to be nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that it was an unkind thing. I'm just saying that within the strict line of what he should have been doing, according to his duties as an officer of the law.
Okay.
I think
That's pretty good backpedaling.
it
Go
sounds like he's trying to give you just a warning.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a way to give a warning without... while still telling the truth. Say, yeah, I saw you run that red light. And sometimes it can happen when you're following close to the cars, so don't pull to the truck and don't run any more red lights, which...
Grandpa proceeded.
proceeded to run multiple red lights.
Yeah, he didn't mention the second one, and he didn't know about the third one.
Yeah. So...
Well, now he
We're
does.
really hoping that he does not listen to this podcast.
No, actually, I hope he does. He was playing. I felt like he was playing with me because I was being so honest. And he just having a good time. I think he was.
Maybe he was surprised to see your honesty.
Maybe.
This was his way of rewarding it.
Yeah. Maybe he had to double check the bottles. I don't know.
What do you think, Ray? Should you lie?
Nope,
No.
never tell a lie.
That can make the action less culpable. So
Yes.
there are three
That
things to
doesn't make
consider
it-
with the morale.
That doesn't make it okay.
There's the action itself, there's the intent, and there's the circumstance. If it is with the intention of saving somebody else, in the circumstance where their life is in danger, then that
doesn't
reduces the culpability of the lie. It
So-
does not
That
make the
doesn't
lie
make- yeah.
good.
It's never
So was
okay
I
to
trying to
lie.
save him from having to write me a ticket?
No, we're not justifying here.
I was engaging with Anna's example.
Oh, okay.
Well, in this case, I mean, the officer goading you into the lie does maybe slightly reduce culpability, though. In that.
Well,
think so.
I know, but you can
To,
be
to
goaded. But I
not
really
lie.
wasn't goaded. I started to see the opportunity to avoid the ticket. That's in my heart. What I was doing is I always thought I was going to avoid the ticket if I would just be quiet and tell him I didn't see the light. And so that's what I told him.
Yeah,
It
but
also sounds like he was kind of insistent on that.
Oh yeah, he was not going to let up.
Like,
That was the third time.
Which means then you end up defying an officer if you.
yeah, when you get in a fight with an officer.
Or about what I did or didn't do. No, that's not a good idea
that's
either.
like
I don't
something
think that's a good
that
idea.
Sheldon would do.
Okay, so how many red lights do you think I've run in my life?
5.
I mean, if we take the average,
3 a day.
4.
Yeah, I've run 4. I ran the 4th one just a few years ago, 2016. Yeah, 2016. We're on the way to the on the way to Philadelphia for the work on Grandma's head with the implants and all that stuff. And I ran a traffic light on Route 22. And again, this is really good. This makes it a lot better driver when you're done. Because again, I ran the traffic light right in front of a trooper. Because the light turned yellow, and I said, oh man, it's going to be a mess if I stop. Because we had the car all loaded up for the week and everything. And I just shot right through that light. And I almost could wave to the police officer as I went through. I immediately pulled over. I waited for the light to turn. You know, he was stopped at the light already and waited for the light to turn. He pulled up alongside of me, not behind me, fortunately. And I told him why I ran the red light. He says, listen, just be more careful. And then he let me go. Didn't say anything.
you see,
Four red lights
that's
and
what
no
the other
ticket.
police officer should have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that
That's
was
what
his
he's watching.
understanding.
You can learn
So I've run
lessons
4
from
red
the
lights.
other one.
But my assessment of my driving, and David can vouch for this because there was a time that I said something sort of this to him, but my driving is not so good. And I still have a lot to learn. And I've driven well over 1 million miles already. So for any of you young drivers that start to think that your driving's good, consider that your grandfather thinks his isn't very good, and he's already done 1 million miles. So and I've had 3 tickets so far in my life, and yeah, 1, 2, 3. Well, we won't talk about those right now. Never stop learning. Keep your mind on the driving you do, and humbly keep learning to drive better. Which means also when I drive now, partly because I'm also getting older, is Grandma has full license to correct me on anything. Even if I already saw it, and even if it's not right. If she sees something that bothers her, she'll say it to me. And I just say thank you, because I still make mistakes driving. And I do want to get better.